All right, I have a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved.
Motion by Daniel,
Second.
by Steve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Let the record show no action was taken during executive session.
We have conference centers that we're continuing to make available for rental. So with the COVID situation, with the governor's executive order, Ms. Janice and I spoke about what would be, what should we be on the lookout for, and so we need some direction. Generally speaking, what we have done is for each of the two primary areas, which is going to be Reservoir Fire Station
And Greenfield.
Reservoir Community Center
And Greenfield.
those two areas right there.
And you also have the physical library too, that's part of it.
Right, so those, the two primary areas are Greenfield and Reservoir. Pisgah is sometimes used as well. And for each of those, what we've done is we have an assessment of how many people can be in there at full capacity, and so we dialed that back and said if it's whatever event it is, it's got to be at no more than 50% capacity. Okay, so that's like rule number one. The other issue that we need some help with is that the facilities need to be cleaned after they're used, well, before and after they're used. But we've got to figure out a way to deal with that. And I don't personally, I don't think as legal counsel, I don't know that it's a good idea for us to basically say to the occupants, the users, y'all clean it.
When you get there?
Yeah, y'all clean it after you use it.
Yeah.
And then us basically rely on that as complying with the clean, there's some cleaning.
Why don't we close them?
That's why we're having this. Y'all need to tell us what you want.
Yeah, I'm serious.
That's an issue that I have.
Until we can lax some of these regulations.
If we're gonna make them
I thought you were talking
available,
about
we need to take
full-time closing
responsibility.
them.
No.
That's what I thought you were talking about.
No.
Like, close them.
No.
If we're gonna make them available during this period of time, we need to be responsible for making sure they're clean and ready for use, okay? That's, why am I saying that? Because the language of this immunity law that we were talking to you guys about that was so important for us to get still has language that says you gotta make a good faith effort, all right?
Can we do something as far as not booking them, making 36 hours between a booking if we don't close them, to where we don't have to have a hard clean, we can just wipe down and...
Well, based off what
That's
the
kinda-
governor has now, are we able to even like open our barn up, the horse barn?
Yeah, he didn't really change anything on that kind of stuff, even though
I
that
thought you
stuff.
could have
That's
more than
not-
20 people.
Jay, that's not a business or a retail business, and it really wouldn't qualify as a social gathering. What he has put the clamps on are businesses and retail businesses, and he's put a mask mandate in each of those situations, and social gatherings. He's very clear in his order that it applied to social gatherings. That's not what we're doing here right now. This is not a social gathering. An event at the horse barn is not a social gathering.
What about
That's an
somebody
event.
renting one of our facilities?
Well,
Yes,
that's possibly
that is.
could be a social gathering. That could be. And so he has some fairly aggressive language about social gatherings. I'm
Your
just
River
suggesting to
Chase
you,
homeowners meeting.
if it's an HOA meeting,
Oh, if that's true. I won't have to knock that.
that's up to them. If it's
Sorry,
an
I
HOA
want to be
meeting,
there, guys, but the governor won't let me.
That
think
technically
that's gonna
is
fly.
not a
So
social
yes.
gathering.
It's not gonna fly, but I mean.
There is an HO meeting
I won't have to be there.
scheduled.
Yeah, there's several HOAs calling to use
What,
it, so.
you know-
And my thing is, if they wanna use it, keep their spacing at half the capacity. I'm
Yeah, it's
exactly,
up to them.
I'm exactly like what Gaines says, clear the time before you come back in. The CDC says basically that if you can allow some place to be unoccupied for 24 hours, if you had a known person in
Right.
there, then go in to clean it. So I would suggest that after they occupy it, space you a couple 3 days maybe on that.
How are we
building.
gonna clean them?
Well, I mean, I would assume the same way we
Spacing
clean
will
it
be,
here.
keeping anybody out there, we just won't schedule.
How do
them
we
there.
clean this office every day?
Oh, we're not.
We do it.
Personnel.
We
Our
wipe
personnel
down
do it.
everything with
I mean, really,
Clorox
'cause the only
wipes,
thing the
spray with
prisoner does is
Lysol.
empty the trash,
We
right?
do
We're
it.
we're emptying trash.
But,
We take our trash out. We do it.
We have to take our trash out. and
Chief
haul it.
cooking bottle washer.
oh, is this because all this now, you mean?
Yeah, we've been
Okay.
doing it for quite a while.
But prior to that, the prisoners.
Prior to that, right.
They
Right.
just do the
They just
garbage,
do
right?
the outside areas. They come to the door, see if we need any
Yeah,
bags, hand
okay.
soap,
Then
wipes,
could- then-
They're
whatever.
not doing anything in here.
Now, I got you, okay.
Yeah.
So who would be cleaning the,
We
That's-
we don't know.
That's
We
what
don't
we
know.
don't know.
That.
Well, I guess my thing is if they're determined to have it and we wait the allotted time, then put it back on the person renting it to fund the cleaning system, whatever
So
that is.
we would
I don't
have
know
to
what.
impose on Reservoir Fire to help us with the community center if they're
Well-
willing to do it.
Well, I mean, I guess my thing is I would have whoever tries to contract it out. I know we give it to the HOAs for those meetings for free on those costs, but they would need to come up with a fee to have it cleaned after they're done.
That was one thing we wanted to ask y'all
to
about.
pay the service, whatever service you guys use to clean this building might be one to start with on that
Some
point. But
additional service. Here's the thing.
wait 36 hours and then have it cleaned.
service of Janice and Laura?
What we,
Yeah,
hey
Jason's already
Daniel,
had COVID, we'll just go point it out.
the crew that comes in for us, basically, as I understand it, they only do fogging. That's it.
Which I think's fine. I mean,
I mean, if that's acceptable.
That's really expensive too.
well,
we-
your
we
hard
have to find
surfaces
out
I think are
cost.
what 24 hours. Isn't that close
That's
to it?
right, how long before nobody touches something that it dies anyway?
24 hours.
24 hours. What they're saying on
24
the
to
site.
36,
Yeah.
according on the surface.
So why don't we just leave it empty for 36 hours and don't even worry
And
about
don't
cleaning?
clean
That's a hell of a good idea.
I mean, is that what you were
Same
saying?
thing Gaines said. Yeah, we could do that.
Well, I thought you were saying wait 24 hours before we go in to clean
no,
it.
I said if you were going to clean it, wait 24.
Oh, I got you.
Just don't book
Yeah.
anything for 36 hours.
Well, just take
Now,
a week
there's
off.
other cleaning services that if we wanted, you know, that I've discussed with Craig, that if you wanted to do an outside cleaning service every so often,
But it's,
But do we
you're
have
not really
any?
doing anything
I
if you only
almost-
do it once every
well, see, when you have,
end of week or, I mean, you might,
if you're not gonna have the birthday parties, the gathering, social gathering, you should talk about
Weddings.
having.
Right.
You got the garbage, you got, everything's gotta be gotten out of there, they still supposed to carry the garbage out, but you're gonna need some cleaning, cause they're not gonna sweep up after themselves. See, the inmates have been doing that, the trustees have been doing that, coming in,
Yep.
cleaning and doing all that at certain times every week. And now that's not,
At the other
at the
facilities?
community,
Two things that may be important. We vet on the front end whether it's a social gathering. And
Right.
we say, you know, the executive order doesn't allow for a social gathering. So unless you're telling me on the front end that your little thing is only gonna be 10 folks and they will all be 6 feet apart, then you really can't utilize the facility for what you're saying under the executive order.
Look,
That's
we
the
got a
first.
building maintenance department, it's loaded with staff. They ought to be able to go by and look, and see if the place needs clean, right?
After that time
Yeah.
period.
Yeah, and if it needs clean, let's just,
So I would
That's my
ask
opinion, I
this, if they're insistent about continuing to go with their event, do we expect them to reimburse us for the cost of cleaning behind them? And if so, what would be an appropriate amount? And I suspect that if Ms. Janice communicates that to them, what we may find is that they just don't want to use the facility, which probably gets us where we want to be.
I would think about a fee at some
why
point.
can't
what-
our building department go clean?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
We got
I guess
three
my
guys
question
over
is-
there.
well, you've only got 3.
well,
Yeah.
but let me ask this here:
They could go check
who cleans
Well,
this building?
They can check it, but.
You don't think they could clean? it?
Other than Laura and Janice, who cleans this
The
building
inmates
at the
come
end of each
through.
week?
We're not, that's just it.
So
Right.
nobody
Right.
cleans the board of supervisors. This entire building, nobody necessarily.
Yeah,
I
Unless
come
it's
in here and
fogged
clean.
right now,
I come in here myself and clean.
it's gonna be your staff.
No, I'm talking about the hallways.
Okay, now
No,
they
the-
come through
They're
multiple
doing the
hallways,
hallways, the trustees, they're
Okay.
coming through the hallways.
but they're not going into
Who
offices.
goes in your office, Jessica?
We clean your office ourselves. We take out the trash and
Wipe everything down yourself.
That's
So
what we're
same way in
doing.
Caroline's office and everything else.
I think so,
Yeah,
yes.
they're not going into any of the offices, just the common area down the hall and mopping and stuff.
They had started back, but when the COVID outbreak began to get worse, Brian pulled them back away.
All right, so what y'all wanna do?
I'm with Gaines. If you leave that joker for 36 hours, 4 days or so, then
Yeah.
we could say a week just if you want to be.
How about this? No social gathering, okay, an HOA meeting, we could let go, because that's not a social gathering. But no social gathering, period. We're just not gonna allow it until this current executive order gets lifted, then we'll revisit.
All right, so one issue. I think I got a wedding, don't I?
That's already been done, I think.
Okay. I don't know. I can't
I
remember.
think so.
And
think that's
each
right.
event needs to be 36 hours separated.
If the wedding hadn't been done, let Bishop call the bride.
Okay.
You call the bride and tell her you can't have your wedding.
Well, see, the thing about it, especially at the reservoir.
Say you
these
can't
other-
do it there, but I have a supervisor come to your house to marry you.
And when Jerry gets back in town, he'll slide over
Did you
there.
get what you needed?
It's not as bad as at Greenfield or the restaurant, but at
Yeah,
Reservoir's,
Reservoir's rough.
they have cookings, I mean, they
I
have
like that.
family
I like what
reunions,
Gaines
they
says
have-
is right. Give them 36 hours to a week, and then have our maintenance crew swing through there. If something needs to be cleaned, something's just totally
Then
out of
we'll
whack,
address
then
it.
we'll do it.
So-
Sounds good.
so
Hey, man,
we're
I
just
wanna
gonna
roll
go
back
no
on that,
social gatherings?
Northwest Rankin soccer deal again. The in-kind work that we can do, if I have some money available, could we not use that to go pick up this concrete and go dump it off
Yes,
over
sir.
there?
They just need to apply, and they need to tell us what the project is.
Oh, they have to
Just
ask
do
for it?
our little grant application, Ms. Jensen.
Are you talking about your recreational funds, Joe?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out a way to go pick up this concrete and drop it over there.
Why couldn't like the city of Flowood, if they're
two
doing a
different places,
project,
one
got
over on
concrete,
Chicken
why couldn't
Bridge
they
and
just
one
haul
on
it over
Eldorado.
there and dump it?
I don't know of a reason why they couldn't, unless their legal counsel was concerned about it being classified as an illegal donation.
It's,
But if they're gonna dump it and throw it into the trash anyway, I don't know why it would be classified that way.
I mean, on Chicken Bridge, the guy's willing to load it for us, but on Eldorado, they built some new facility there. They got where they bust out the slab. They probably got several loads over there that we can get for them. I know
I
we all
don't
want to
think
help them.
just throwing concrete in that ditch is gonna fix anything.
Well, they're going to have to put that material
They're gonna
down
have
and then
to
come place
Dress
the
it up.
concrete.
I mean, that's about the least amount. I mean, they got a whole lot of other things, cause that, I mean, Mike and Tim are smarter than I am on this, but you throw something hard in there and that's gonna make the water cut behind it or around it if you don't address it even more.
Well, I would think they can hire a contractor to come do all. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
suggesting
mean, I ain't
us
saying
do
let's not
that.
do it, but, I
Yeah.
mean, that's just a portion of what they gotta do.
Yeah,
And-
if there was, I mean, I thought that was pretty, us trying to show some effort.
Yeah.
And I know we discussed doing some overlay over there.
I thought you did.
We hadn't done nothing.
No, I thought you said that's what you were gonna do in your area.
Well, I mean, we talked about doing not necessarily overlay, but micro, but I don't know if that'll even work now, the way they was talking.
I drove through that the other day. It's not, I mean,
Just make it a gravel road.
I don't even know how it became a county road to start with.
Wood Brown did it.
That
Did
is a
he?
county road.
It's a county road.
Did he,
All the way
Like
Right
added
across-
to the,
right
it's
across
an
from-
accepted county road, that loop in the
Behind
center.
Rapids.
behind Rapids.
he added it?
Correct.
Oh,
He
okay.
added it.
I'm thinking crossing
sir.
Pelahatchie Bay.
No.
No, you're thinking of the baseball field. This is soccer behind the
Okay.
old rapids on the reservoir.
Alright.
That's one PRV was gonna rent me and Brad on.
Yeah, 'cause we,
Maybe should have taken you down. I don't know. No, I mean, that's
I mean, and they
that's
can
a-
lock the gate
I know it's
anytime they
Fishman
want
Road,
to.
so- All right.
All right, Mr. President.
All right, I have a motion to recess to the 22nd
So moved.
at
11 o'clock.
we
11
did-
a.m.
We did all the things we're supposed to do to come out of our executive.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We took, oh yeah, I know before, that's right.
Have a motion?
Yeah.
Motion by Daniel,
Second.
second by Steve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I say, all right. See y'all the 22nd.
Jared texted and said he will be here.
Hey, I can't be there
22nd.
Friday, but if they're not finished, y'all gonna